So there's this misconception going around that Made in Abyss is, what is it? Edgy torture porn written by, like, a pedophile. And the thing with that is that I completely understand why people think that, having read the manga, but I just don't really think that's true. Like, I just put out a video on my channel, does Made in Abyss really need naked lolis? You know, kind of arguing for that from, you know, in regards to the narrative. But as for why this misconception gets spread is like, yeah, some shit happens in the manga, but it's the fans. It's all in the fans. Like, because, like, you know, I don't, no, I can't even say that because I totally fell into it. Like, the reason I read the manga was because of people posting these manga pages that with, like, horrible shit happening, and it's fascinating. Like, I guess, like, I'd heard about the show, you know, people were like, oh, Made in Abyss is really good this season. I'm like, oh, cool. Can't wait to check it out after it ends, like I do with everything. But then I saw these manga pages, and that night I was up till like 2 a.m. reading the 6 volumes that had been translated, and I fucking loved it. But not because it was, like, edgy, but, like, what's happening here is the fans, like, they love it. They the reason this contention goes around is because the fans themselves, like, I'm mostly going by the Made in Abyss threads on 4chan. You know, someone says, like, man, this sure is edgy, and people are like, yeah. Like, you know, like they joke about how the author is a pedo, and because he draws naked little girls, and it's like, because, like, I guess there's that, like, you know, the way I found the show with posting those pages, it's like you see people react, it's like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's gruesome and weird and what? But, edgy? Like, I mean, I would define edgy as, like edgy is when you sort of, like, revel in the grim and dark stuff. Like, I guess to give an example, like edgy is like if you have a character with, like, a mental illness, but you're, like, glorifying the mental illness, like, yeah, I'm a psychopath, ooh, I kill people and I don't give a fuck. Like, that's pretty edgy, especially in, like, if you're actually supposed to, like, take the character seriously. Like, you know, like, satire can be edgy, but it's usually intended to be funny, so, like, that's fine, you know, because it's not meant to be taken seriously. Like, if it's edgy and you're taking it seriously, it's like, no, like, it's just not gonna work. Like, I see things get called edgy, like, I never understand why Ryuko from Kill la Kill is called edgy, like, because she has a black and red color scheme. like certain species of snakes are edgy now. Like, I don't, like, that's obviously not it. I think it's mostly, like, when I remember that getting thrown around, it was when it turned out she wasn't human, and she was having, like, an existential crisis over it, and I'm like, that's not edgy. Like, edgy would be like, yeah, I'm not human, that means I don't have to give a fuck about humans, fuck humans, I want to kill all the humans. Like, that's pretty edgy. But, like, with Ryuko, she's actually, like, fucking distraught because she's closer to what she's fighting than you know, her friends who she's been fighting for, and, like, it's, you know, it fucks her up for, like, 5 seconds until she her school uniform slaps the shit out of her and is like, shut the fuck up and be cool. And she's like, okay, like, that's how I remember it. It has been a while since I saw the show. But, like if Ryuko is edgy in that way, then all robots who've ever questioned their humanity are also edgy. Like Pluto. Naoki's Urasawa is Pluto. Westworld is now, well, okay, Westworld, I mean, it's dark, but, like, again, it's about, like, the reveling in it, like propping it up, but not treating it well. Like, not, if you're not treating the subject, like, matter seriously, then that's when it can come off as edgy. Like, otherwise it's just, like, it can be dark or grim without necessarily being edgy. Like, I guess to sort of explain where I have my definitions of dark and grim, like, there's, like, an alignment chart on the traditional games board on 4chan where it's, like, for settings, where it's, like, there's the noble, grim, noble bright and grim dark, which, those are the two extremes. Like, a noble setting is, like, a setting where the people are generally good. You know, a grim setting is one where the people are generally, you know, shifty or shitty, cynical. Like a good example would be DC versus Marvel. Like, in Marvel, the regular old people are likely to be racist against mutants or dislike superheroes for some reason because of, like, the news media shitting on superheroes and being very, you know, critical and stuff. Like, that's closer to a grim setting. I mean, it's not overly grim because it's still, you know, I mean, maybe, I don't know, I don't read a lot of Marvel. But like, DC, the superheroes get like, there's museums and they're well respected for doing good. That's more noble. And then, dark versus light is pretty simple. A dark setting is where horrible shit happens, and a light setting is where, nothing horrible really happens. Though I guess it's also in how livable the setting is. Like, Pokemon is a very light, bright setting. Everyone wants to live in Pokemon. It's the best fantasy setting or fictional setting for going to. Like, as much as I love as well developed as the world of Lord of the Rings is, you wouldn't want to live there, would you? I don't think so. It's just a medieval place, like, with like 2 wizards, and everyone else is it's probably just, average for the normal person in that time period, So I guess on these axes, like, where Made in Abyss would fall, like, I would call it, like, it's definitely dark, like, the Abyss is, but it's just like a place, like, it's not like a malicious place, it's very, indifferent. It's like, they're just, animals, like, that are just trying to, get food, usually, though, or they're very territorial, like, and dangerous, because, they're just really powerful animals that, you basically need to be awesome to get to take out, but, like, some bad things happen to the main characters, but it doesn't revel in that. Like, one of the things that impressed me immediately is because, like, I had these vivid images of some of the later pages in mind, but I had no idea who was a main character and who wasn't. So, like, we started with all these kids in the orphanage, and I'm like, okay, some of you might, die, and I didn't know. For sure. Yet, even though I had that, I was still, like, completely swept up in the tone. Like, just the art, the paneling, the characters being so, fun, and, Riko, she's adorable. Like, I was immediately like, yeah. I was swept up, but I was like, oh god, now when something bad happens, I'm gonna feel, like, fucking ruined. And that's exactly what happened. Like, when bad things happened, I was like, it was like getting hit in the stomach. It felt like bad, like, it's bad, but not, like, I can't see it as torture porn, because, like, I've only seen, like, bits of, like, Final Destination or Saw, like, never, because, I don't know, I don't care, but, like, I'm not into gore, I guess, like, in that way, but it's like, the characters you barely give a fuck about, who, like, getting senselessly killed, like, that's sort of the tragedy of it, like, why is this happening, I guess, maybe, but it's like, with Made in Abyss, like, they went into the abyss of their own volition and are continuing to descend even regardless of what's happening. Like, they're kind of bringing it upon themselves. Like, it's still bad when it happens because you like these characters and you want them to succeed in the end. But it's like, fuck. It's like, yeah. But yeah, it never makes you go like, ha, you deserved it. Man, I sure do like watching these characters getting tortured. Like, no, that's not how it comes. Like, I mean, there's one joke, but it's not even like a murdery thing. It's like, they finish like a major arc and they try to send a letter up to the surface and they're like, that letter represents our hopes, and like immediately gets fucking attacked by a bird and taken down, and like maybe Riko starts crying, or no, they're sad, I don't remember, she starts crying, but it's fucking hilarious because it's got this comedic timing, and but the characters point out that, like, well, yeah, anyone else who sent up a letter from this deep down probably sent up dozens, to make sure that one of them got to the surface, because it's like impossible. They only sent one this time. I just thought it was a funny scene, and in that moment we're kind of like laughing at the characters a bit because they only sent one letter, the fucking idiots. But they're not getting hurt. We're not laughing at them. Like, whenever something like that happens, like it's not supposed to be fun. We're not supposed to be enjoying the characters getting shit on, basically, by what they're this fucking horrible place. Like, that was kind of the point of, like, both my last 2 videos in a way, is because, like, I did my fairy tale one, like, this is how to do fan service poorly, and one of the things I talked about was, like, where they have moments ruined by overly sexualizing characters when they really shouldn't be sexualized, and it's like the whole part of doing the Made in Abyss video right after that, I could have just waited to do it until after the show ended so I could use the footage from the show, but I wanted to get it up after the fairy tale video because, like, okay, here's how to do fan service wrong, and here's how to have naked characters and do it right. And, Made in Abyss, like, it's not like Riko's losing her shirt during a fight scene or something like that. I wouldn't be doing the fucking video. But as for, like, so yeah, the setting's definitely dark, but I'm not sure if I'd even call it, like, is it grim? like, I mean, the only, like, I mean, maybe, like, the main characters are so bright, but, like, the show isn't going out of its way to, like, ruin, like, destroy them. Like, Riko still has her optimism, like, as deep as she is in the manga, which I won't say, just for spoiler reasons. But, you know, she's not dead. Spoilers. Yeah, but, like, yeah, the characters are still, you know, able to find enjoyment even in this, you know, dangerous place, you know, because it's kind of, it's, like, the atmosphere of it still manages to be, because, like, there is this danger, but at the same time, like, there is beauty within it, like those flowers, the white flowers, I forget what they're called there, but they're like everywhere in the abyss, and so, you know, there's always some sort of beauty somewhere in the abyss, you know, it's that's like the opposite of edgy. Like, what? I don't know, I just don't get the, no. But I guess as for, like, the other characters beyond the main characters, there's one person, he's God, he's weird. If I ever do another video on the show, I'll probably be talking about him, because he's interesting. But he's also the source of a lot of the dark shit, because he does these horrible things. But even then, it's like for the greater good, supposedly, so he says. And then he's also got a weird support of the main characters, like he wants them to succeed, even though as he stands in their way, kind of deal. Like, so it's like, even with this, like, the darkest character in the entire fucking series, like, there's still, like, positivity within him. And it's not there to, like, justify him. It's there to, it feels like, it's, like, off-putting. Like, it feels, like, unsettling that this guy is saying, like, these things, even though he's like, then turns around and does fucking horrible things. But it's like, but yeah, like, dark, yes. Grim, I'd say it's more neutral, you know, like, it's not really bright, or noble, rather, but it's, you know, it's not super grim either, like, it just kind of is, like, there's good people, more good people than, you know, but then, like, the whole society has these values that you know, don't match with our own, but, you know, in their society, it's, like, perfectly normal, like, to glorify going down into the abyss, because that's how that's how this place gets money. So of course they'd want people to go into the abyss and sacrifice themselves, you know, to bring back super valuable artifacts that can change the surface world. So yeah, it's just a values dissonance, but it's like, it's yeah, but it's not edgy. I just can't see that, like, as so yeah, read the fucking manga, I think, is wait for the anime to end and then read the manga, because I am enjoying the adaptation, not quite as much as the manga, but it's still got, you know, a good number of things going for it. I don't know, how would you define edgy? Like, maybe I'm just wrong. I don't know. Man, this is good. That's it.